everybody. Welcome to another edition. Nice
Hello,
to see you
everyone.
there, Gary, Lenny. Nice to have everybody. Welcome there.
Welcome,
I see
everyone.
everybody's got a tow truck, Denise and Rebecca. So
Welcome,
I've got everybody pulled up, and you all watching on X. Used to be what was it called before X?
I'm not sure.
Twitter.
Oh,
No, not Twitter. Yeah, it was. Wasn't it Twitter?
yeah, maybe it was. Yeah.
Isn't that awful? But I got you. So if you comment, I think I should be able to see you. So give it a test. So if you have any questions, Penny Van or anybody that's watching on X, let me know, and I should be able to follow you. So thanks for tuning in on X. Nice to have you. Welcome, everybody. What's going on, Crystal? Nice to see you there. Are you still eating your chocolate?
Oh, Roger.
Standing Stones, you got me. I didn't know you placed an order, because I would have snuck something in your package. And it's already sealed and gone. So, but nice to have you, everybody. Welcome on a Friday evening. Liana, round of applause for everybody. So, Bigfoot, the connection to aliens. So what about that, Christopher?
Yeah, a lot of people have often said that, they think Bigfoot and aliens are connected, and that is very, very true. They are very much connected. Bigfoot and aliens have quite a large connection together because I've been told this through remote viewing with the ETs and my contacts that we are all one nation under God. So everything that is living on this earth that has a conscience is all from one source, and that includes Bigfoot. And Bigfoot have been known to be they are very large creatures. Some people call them Sasquatch, some people call them there's various names, but if you look back at the history of Bigfoot and ETs, you're going to find so much relation to them. And Bigfoot a lot of times are associated with orbs. People will see orbs that morph into Bigfoot. Some people have seen and just heard the sounds or heard like a sound big. They claim to be Bigfoot sounds. I've heard the EVPs. Even cases where people have seen orbs that have shapeshifted and then turned into a large, kind of like a see-through creature that they refer to as Sasquatch. And so there definitely is a connection there. And when you think about that, about how everything came onto this earth, and you trace it all back, it all ties together. Because if you think about, clear back into dinosaur days, you got to wonder, were they related in any ways to ET and Bigfoot? Of course they were, because it's all one source. And like we refer to as God or Father in heaven, ETs refer to that as a higher source. And Bigfoot in a lot of ways are a lot like humans. They're much larger, and of course they got more hair, but they are just as kind and polite as we are. I've never heard of any severe or violent Bigfoot cases, and I've read through several cases, and most of it's all been very peaceful. Hello, Penny. Hello, Standing Stone. Nice to have you here.
Hi there, 5x5 on X. Nice to see you there. I see your comments coming through.
I say hi to my friend Rachel and all of her little friends, and hello, Roger. But yeah, some of the cases I've read where people have actually been given gifts by Bigfoot. That's how, because it seems like that they are real, and that some people have left gifts for them. And then when they leave gifts, believe it or not, if you leave Bigfoot a gift, they will give you a gift back. And they're intelligent. They can spell. They can write. I'm not going to say they're excellent at it, but I've heard stories where they have left notes, little things, little carvings and stuff. In fact, one case that I heard of, where a gentleman left a gift for Bigfoot, and the Bigfoot left one back, and then he said thank you to them in writing on a paper, and they spelled out the words with sticks and stuff. You're welcome, or welcome. Hello, Rebecca. So yeah, I mean, they are just as kind and polite as any other human. I've never heard of anything severe. However, if you look back at some of the evidence, some of the proof that we have of their existence, not only do we have the EVPs and, of course, the sightings, but there have been molds and things that have been taken from the ground that you can see the size of their feet. And we do the same thing in MUFON with the UFO network. When we find like footprints or any kind of artifacts in the ground, we'll make a mold or a sculpture of it and take that as proof. And I've seen the proof. I've seen the molds from Bigfoot. They are large. I don't know exactly the size of their feet. I mean, around guess would be what, 15, 16, 17 shoe size maybe. But yeah, any questions up to this point?
So we talk about this phenomenon, Bigfoot and aliens. And this goes back, actually, back to the 70s, ladies and gentlemen. So Rebecca Morin, I see your comments coming through on our station. Good job. Thank you. I did a test. Back to the 70s to 73, 74, we can go back to Pennsylvania to Pittsburgh, where people actually were seeing UFOs. And it's been documented. Not only were they seeing UFOs, but they were seeing Bigfoot and UFOs at the same time. And I can't remember the ridge where they were seeing this phenomenon. And they were also reporting orbs with Bigfoot, and Bigfoot carrying blue orbs in their hands, walking. Welcome, Rachel. And then seeing UFOs with beams of light being projected down on Bigfoot, and the UFOs following Bigfoot. So this phenomenon has been around for some time. However, what is very interesting is that over the years, it used to be segregated. The UFO field only believed in UFOs. Bigfoot only believed in Bigfoot. The paranormal field only believed in the spirit in the afterlife. But now it seems like the fields are starting to mingle and
Yep.
dilute themselves with all the fields, because now it seems like, however, that they are entangled somehow. Isn't that what it seems like, Christopher?
Oh yeah, because even in MUFON where I worked there for a while, they weren't really excited about us using the term paranormal on our case reports. But now they realize, well, yeah, if it really fits the situation, then yeah, go ahead and put it down. But a lot of people thought that that UFOs are one thing, paranormal is another, and then of course there was a lot of disbelief in any of that. But now more people are coming around to believe in the unknown, especially like UFOs, aliens, and Bigfoot, because people are now starting to say, well, I once had a sighting and here's what I seen or heard. Whereas before they were more afraid to mention it because they thought, well, if I say something, the people don't think I'm nuts. But now even the people you talk to that you originally thought were going to be against you are now like, well, yeah, I saw something too at one point.
That is correct. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Denise. Thank you. Super sticker, Denise, from Denise. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you, Denise. Wonderful.
That really helps out. Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, and see that was the problem, right? I wish I could remember the name. Standing Stones would probably know it. It was up there in Pittsburgh, Maryland. Pennsylvania. And people still get lost to this day. They go up in this mountain, and at the bottom of the mountain, there's a super Walmart. And at the bottom of the hill, and people still get lost because of the phenomenon. I can't remember what it's called, but there's all kinds of high strangeness there. But when it comes to Bigfoot, is it or is it not? Some people say that Bigfoot is an alien, that they were brought here thousands of years ago as slaves to mine. Some people said that they were brought here from a dying planet I don't know. What's your thoughts, Christopher?
Oh yes, I mean you look back at how far back this goes, and a lot of people have often said, that that if you look clear back, even like in the Bible, where it talks about bright light coming down from the sky, and of course we could say that was UFO entirely as well, because it maybe very well have been, and then later on here came the as people would often say, here come the modern times where people were able to come clean and report what they saw. And a lot of people, when they see the ships in the sky, especially if you're out in the wilderness or the woods, they'll hear like a moan or a cry, which could very well be, the sounds of Bigfoot. In fact, there was a story that was once put out where a gentleman was out in the field and he saw this, large creature, and then the creature began to move, and when it moved, it just like disappeared, almost like in thin air. So was it going through like a portal, or was there a certain like a dimension that it was coming and going from? Because we know the ETs can come and go from portals and dimensions, as well as paranormal, like the spirits, which there again kind of ties it all together. In a way, maybe an interdimensional being. That is very, very, very true, Rachel. Could be a very
I think
interdimensional being.
Rachel is onto something. I do
Right.
think that they are somehow an interdimensional being, because how is it that they can be there in the woods and then all of a sudden just disappear? How can something be 7 or 8, 9 foot tall, 800 pounds, and just disappear?
Right.
So you,
Because you look at where they're coming from, these portals or these dimensions, and you got to wonder, because if they're coming from a dimension, that would make where we're at also a dimension. So you got to wonder, which dimension was here first? Was it theirs? Was it ours? And how is this all placed? And when doing remote viewing for the ETs, and they told me that we were all one cohesive unit, could we have all been from one dimension, and then maybe got split up somehow over time?
yes, I do think that. People on X that are watching, what are your all's thoughts? Do you all believe that it's interdimensional? Do you all believe that these things are real? I mean, do you all think that all this is just hoax? Type it in the comments. What I'm just curious.
There was a story that was once told, where a little girl was leaving. She had this what she referred to as like a Sasquatch friend, and she would go out and leave like a little plate of berries, cheeses, and fruits out for it. And then every day, it would take the empty plate, no joke, and bring it back and put it on their porch. And then the next day, she'd put more out for it. And she actually made friends with this thing. Now, she never got to I don't know if she ever actually seen it, but she knew it was there. Somehow she knew it was there, and it would eat the food and bring back the plate that she would lay out for it.
Well, we have reports that some people would leave color popsicle sticks, and they would sort them by colors in groups. They would leave stick formations into certain shapes, such as hearts. They will leave marbles and form groups of shapes. I mean, they're intelligent.
Oh
I
yes,
don't know what else to say. Yes,
and of course,
Standing Stone's hearts. Absolutely.
and then some of the like the ETs and stuff, they've often been said that they're even more intelligent than we are, and so you got to wonder just how smart the Sasquatch and Bigfoot is, because there was even a gentleman that he left gifts for him, and they left pieces of gold for him in return. So that's a pretty good exchange of gifts. Standing Stone says the other thing about Bigfoots, they would have to survive the cold winters. Yeah, and with them, yeah, you're right. And he says, you're telling me the hair on them take care of, or do they have a completely different cardio system? I'm sure they are much more healthier than we are, because I don't think they eat the junk food like we do and stuff. And of course they are much stronger, more side. They're definitely taller than we are, and so yeah, I could see where they would be much more intelligent and much more in strength and all than we are. But they can. Some people say they can shape shift and morph. So
we had a person that lives in Washington State on the West Coast. We have another person that lives in Arkansas. We had allegedly a Sasquatch that used broken sticks and left a diagram of a house. It looked like a house with a chimney. Now, that was in Washington State. Allegedly, we had the pictures on the show. Another Sasquatch did the same thing to another family. You know that both houses were almost identical. How is that possible?
That would probably be because they both visited the same location, and or maybe they communicated back and forth somehow and was given the information back and forth. In fact, there was one story that I heard where they were writing out words, but they didn't have everything. They didn't have the everything they needed to write the words completely. So they were using like number 4 for the letter E and different things. They were moving the letters, numbers around. So they are smart, believe me. Penny says, "I always thought there were portals involved because of people finding only a left or right print. How does something only leave one print, then nothing more?"
Yes, how's that possible?
That's a good question. I mean, unless they as they're coming and going from dimensions, maybe they leave one foot and then move to another dimension. I can't really speak for sure on that, but people
But
have
yeah,
actually
because
taken.
you will find a set of tracks, and you will walk in out in the field and follow those tracks, and all of a sudden they just disappear into nowhere. Or you will start a set of tracks and they just stop out in the open. Doesn't make any sense.
And Rachel says that she thinks maybe electromagnetic. That is very true. That they can sense the electromagnetic fields because you got to remember animals have stronger, or if you call it an animal, they have stronger vision and hearing than we do. So they can pick up on little things. So they know if a car is coming by that might be maybe a mile away, they can hear little things. They know how to get in or out of Dodge. And as far as going in and out of portals and dimensions, I mean, there's been reports where people have literally seen these creatures, Sasquatch, Bigfoot. They're standing right there, and then they just kind of almost like just walk into like just vanish out of thin air. They start walking, and then they just get more and more, and they're gone. So you got to wonder where the portal's at. Are they stepping through, and that's when they disappear?
I do believe in portals. I do believe in that. I do believe in higher frequencies because our eyesight can only see on certain spectrums and certain levels, right? A lot of people believe, like Penny says, can they shadow step? We know Indians have done that. We know people that try to hide their tracks used to do that in the old days, right? Do you
Exactly.
think they're actually capable? Hello, Allison. Welcome to the show. Round of applause for Connecticut. Do you think that they are that intelligent to backstep in their tracks?
Oh, sure. I'm sure they can, because they're smarter than some of us maybe even realize. So I'm sure they can backstep their tracks. I'm sure they can they can plan things out and say, okay. Well, Rachel says, do you think? I missed the last question. Do you think they were created by Anunnakis as slaves in a race initially? It could be possible that they were at one point maybe. I don't know what race they are as far as ETs if they're an ET race. But then of course when you think back to how far all this goes back, maybe we're all in some ways a certain race. But if you if you think about how how they can come and go, and you got to believe, as smart as they probably are, they could probably, they some people might even say they can predict the future, like they know what's coming up, so they know when to hide, when to traverse from different dimensions.
Gosh, wouldn't that be something if they were created by the Anunnaki?
Oh yeah, you'd almost have to do like or like trace back, their steps. If you could trace back far enough, maybe you could find out what race they are. Crystal, thank you for watching the show tonight. Allison,
Yeah,
thank you.
hopefully you get feeling better, Crystal. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully you didn't have what I had. Allison, hey, yes, there are portals in other dimensions with waves in the air. You can see them there. Yes, I do believe in them. Welcome, Linda Judd. I heard that Anunnaki are many races. Yes, I do believe that too, Linda. Hello, Ryan Barber. Welcome to the show. Are you wearing your headlamp? Welcome, Ward. Nice
Hello,
to see you
Gary.
back. That kind of put me on a spin about the Anunnaki. I really never thought too much about that. That is something. Interesting.
Oh yes, and when you think back to the ETs, and they've often said, because that's some of the communication I've had with the ETs through remote viewing and different things, about how our consciousness is really all we are, and we're placed into this holding chamber, and then when it's our turn, we come back. We can come back as a human form. We can come back as another ET. We can pretty much come back as whatever we want. That also probably almost guarantee it includes coming back as a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot, and being one of those creatures, you're going to have more strength, more power, and have the ability to come in and out of portals, have the ability to leave footprints, and in some cases, they could probably walk without having to leave a footprint if they don't really want to completely come into physical form. They want to come in as maybe a little more like a orb or a slightly like transparent form, and maybe not leave a footprint, and then maybe come down and just leave one footprint if they wanted to, which would prove would be the answer to why we only have one footprint sometimes with him.
Well, a lot of people ask me, how come we don't see the footprints? Well, if you stop and think, the floor litter in the woods, right, all the leaves, branches, and so forth, it's kind of hard. But
Right.
two, they're so big. You're looking at a 16, 17-inch long, 5 to 7-inch track. Your human mind's not focused to see something like that. And a
No.
lot of times you're not going to be able to see something like that in a regular forest floor unless it's out on a creek bed, sandbars, or in the side of a bank where it's totally clear and it's soft mud or something like that, where it's going to be easily seen in easily soft ground for the impression. So,
Right. And of course,
Allison says, I believe that Bigfoot is a spirit. That's why he's so hard to find. It's possibly could. That's where I think the interdimensional being comes into play. Absolutely. Good point, Allison.
yeah, good going, Alice.
Brian and I are going to have some fun in May. Hopefully he don't tie me up to a tree and put peanut butter all over me.
Ooh.
So yes.
And definitely, if you look back, even like perhaps there are more footprints than what we noticed by the time we as the searchers get out to the area. That it could have been rain, could have been tracked over, moved over, and you just don't see it. But at times when you do see one, don't be afraid to take a picture of it as best you can, or in some cases, like we do with the UFO group, that we make an impression of it. Make and then take the impression that we make the molding of it and keep that for our record purposes.
Yes, absolutely.
Hello, Sammy Stones.
Rebecca, I wouldn't know it's a large footprint in a forest. I think it's just where a log or rock was moved. You know what? So when I found that print in the park, I didn't even really notice it because I was walking uphill and it was in a spot to where I shouldn't have been. But when I first saw it, I was puzzled. But I didn't see the one next to it. It was somebody else that saw it. So, and your mind's not prepared to see something like that. So,
No,
yes.
especially
Thanks. No remains ever remain. Yes, that is true, Allison. Okay, no peanut butter grizzly. Yeah. I swore off that. No, God. I'm just afraid you're going to rub it on my back or something. I'm not paying attention as we walk through there. So,
So let's put this all into perspective. So you have the ETs that fly around in spaceships, And then you also wonder, you have the Bigfoot and Sasquatch that are seen occasionally on land. Now, in most cases, there's more ET sightings than there are Bigfoot sightings. Okay, so we got that. You got big aliens up here. You got a lot of sightings going on there. Then you have the Bigfoot sightings that are more or less than what you have with the ETs. The numbers are a lot lower. Now, occasionally, you do hear of a Bigfoot sighting, but then in between all that, you got these thousands of UFO sightings. So you wonder, okay, they're up there. How do we know they're not up there occasionally coming down here, and maybe interacting with ET? Because they could be like talking to each other, interacting somehow, and maybe going from one dimension to the other. Having that correlation together.
Well, that's the problem. Welcome, Care Bear. Nice to have you. Round of applause for you. That's the thing. We don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's not like that. I can tell you, Christopher. Last night I saw a gray alien next to a Bigfoot talking. So,
hello, Gary. And
everything we're talking about is speculation, a theory.
Right.
So,
hello,
the only
Care
thing
Bear.
we know is that everybody are seeing UFOs, and during the time they're seeing UFOs, they're seeing Bigfoot, and vice versa.
Right. And there's so many stories. If you read some of the reports that even we get, where people have claimed to have seen a very large creature or something standing outside. When they saw the ship, they saw like a large creature, but it was so transparent they couldn't get a good clear look at it. Or they try to photograph it, and it doesn't turn out in the photographs. But in some cases, one of the recent cases that we had, where a gentleman was actually standing outside his door. He's taking his little dog out to go to the restroom, and all of a sudden he had this humongous, what he referred to as a black triangle fly over, and then he got a sunburn on his stomach. But now at the same time he woke up, he almost thought he saw what he thought was like a transparent being, and it was much larger than he was, and then it vanished. And so you got to wonder, okay, so could he have maybe saw Sasquatch, maybe he saw ET? Who knows? But all he knows is that it was much larger than he was, and it was transparent. And sometimes when the ETs or the Bigfoot come out to show themselves, or even to walk around, they may not be in complete physical form. It could be just a slight vision of them.
Welcome, John.
Hello,
Allison
John.
says it's not a theory. Seeing spirits appear and disappear. No, that is not a theory. That actually happens, Allison. I agree, and I concur. Yes, Lenny, please smash and thumbs button. Yeah, if you're not a subscriber, ladies and gentlemen, hit that button.
Hit the
It don't
button.
cost you anything. Hello, Lorna.
Hello, Lorna. Care Bear. In fact, my first UFO sighting, believe it or not, is when I saw the ship in the sky, and it was just a matter of maybe not even 2 seconds. It didn't move; it just vanished. Is it 1 minute? There it wasn't. So either it moved really quickly and I didn't catch it, or it just completely vanished. But the same thing with Sasquatch. You see maybe one footprint in the ground. That could be where it took that step and then just went into the next dimension. And
so
it is very possible
that aliens don't get along with each other, because we know throughout the Bible that there have been wars. We have paintings that there has been wars in the sky, right?
Exactly.
I wonder what they think of each other, different races. I wonder what Bigfoot, Sasquatch thinks of whatever races.
I do know from what I've been told that there are, of course, we know there are good ETs and there's bad ETs. And I have been told for a fact that the good ETs do not interact with the bad ones because they keep their distance. They don't cause the fights or the wars. They keep their distance from each other. And the good ones are out for our better health and try to save Earth and help us populate and keep us alive, help us grow. And they want us to help them populate, grow, and live. Now, the bad ETs, they're the ones that they want to inflict the pain, the harm, and do the punishment. They're the ones that do all the cattle mutilations, do all the harm. And the good ones, the bad ones, they do not coexist. They do not interact with each other. They keep their distance. And so some of the good ETs are down here trying to help us, or up there, I should say, trying to help us. And they do occasionally come down. But and I'm sure it's the same thing with Sasquatch. I'm sure there might even be a few Bigfoot that are not here to help us, that are here to harm or hurt us. We haven't seen those yet, but I'm sure there's good and there's bad with that as well.
Interesting. Allison, don't forget the large landing signs on the ground and animals you can only see from high up. Yes, that is true, Allison. Good point.
Thank you, Allison. And anybody else have questions from X or Twitter? Let us know. Put it in the chat box.
Interesting. Crop circles. And crop circles are always fascinating. I know some of them, a lot of them's been hoax, but a lot of them have not.
Right. The best way to tell between a hoax and a real crop circle is the branches of the crops. I mean, because you can almost look at them and you can see where they were purposely bent and if it's a real crop circle, then the crops are going to be bent over, but they're still going to be alive and full intact. Care
Bear wants to know, hey, Christopher, where did you see the UFO? I'm curious because certain areas report my sightings than others.
Yes, I saw my first UFO sighting, believe it or not, was in my own property. Because as a child, I did a lot of sky watching, and I would always look, all around, just staring at the skies for hours at night. And I looked up to the what was my right hand side, and I saw this saucer shape with lights going around. And I thought, what in the world? And before I could even finish that sentence, it did not move. It just vanished, like the switch went off. That was my first sighting.
Interesting. Rebecca says, Christopher, I watched a show where a woman laid in a crop circle and she was healed. So there are some of the crop circles, what Christopher is saying is that the radiation in the EMF fields are off the charts. And the real crop circles emits that infrastructure or the frequencies are also imploded. They implode out, and you can tell because the other ones are forced. I can't even talk. Forced over with a rod or a stick or a board, right, as they lay them down. These are like shot with microwave frequencies where they implode out, and you can see it underneath the microscope that they are heated up and they like pop like popcorn. So, and yes, they have been known for certain elements. Excuse me, I'm eating some real nice hot candy to give healing properties, and they don't understand why. So, yes, it's very interesting. So, Roger Blair, when the cattle mutilations happen, what do the aliens use the parts for? Some type of experiments. That is the very curious things, right? Because nobody knows. And it's usually certain parts of the body, whether it's reproductive organs, the tongues, certain body parts like liver and other things, they don't know. That's what's very curious. What's your thoughts on it, Christopher?
Yeah, when I investigated the crop circle cattle mutilations for Texas group, what I was told through my remote viewing sessions by the ETs was that they were using the cattle food. They were storing it on the back side of the moon. That is where their base is, on the other side of the moon, and they store their food up there for supplies. Now, through the remote viewing that I did, they said that we have plenty of cattle, and that we can all share because we are one cohesive unit. Now, it has been almost scientifically proven that if you take a large set of what we call binoculars, or not binoculars, but telescopes, and if you look at the moon and stare at it for even a good length of time, you will see shadows moving. The shadows you see moving are the ETs. If you stare at it long enough, you will see the shadows. They store their food on the backside of the moon, and they were taking the cattle because they use it for food, and we have plenty. Some of the other areas that they have facilities on are like Mars and some of the other their bases up there.
I think Carrier's right. Don't they drain the blood too? I don't think there's any blood left in them. Right? Isn't that
No,
true?
the only thing that's left when they do the mutilation is just pretty much the bones or the diaphragm of it.
So yes, Allison, I saw a UFO in the Bronx, New York. Looking out the window during the day, it was gray, and then it went behind a cloud. And I was only 7 years old, looking on the 14th floor. Wow. Standing stones, aliens absorb the stuff they need through their skin. Yeah, I think somebody else said that too.
They take the food and they put it on their skin. And they just absorb it, and that's how they feed themselves.
You like my binoculars there, Linda and Allison?
Cute.
I was trying to get Christopher. Christopher, he will not laugh when he's talking. So, yes. Yeah, Christopher is like, when he's in the mid-sentence, he won't laugh. He'll laugh afterwards, but...
I'll laugh after.
Yeah, he'll laugh after. So... But no, it's... You know, they're still having cattle mutilations still to this day. I think we covered some last year down in Texas. Residents were getting upset, and they called the sheriff. Like, we want answers. The sheriff was like, I don't know what to tell you. Rebecca, Christopher, do you ever wonder if the aliens lie since we learned the G-Man do? That's a good question.
As far as I know, the ETs do not lie. They're all completely truth tellers. Although I wouldn't surprise me if the bad ones don't tell the per se the fibs to get us to go with them. But all the positive ETs, I can assure you, they do not lie to us. They're only here for our better health, our judgment, and to help us grow and populate, because they care about Earth. Because we are the only friends they have, besides ourselves, is us. And that's why they care so much. That's why they want to do so much good for us. That's why they have.
How do you know that though?
I've been told that not only through remote viewing with my spirit guides and some of the people I work with.
Yes, Allison, I've actually read that before, that the sheriff's department and local game wardens are trying to blame it on, because they have nothing else to blame it on besides a wild pack of dogs. But dogs, have you ever seen dog attacks? I have. And I know what dogs do, and that's not dog attacks. They're not precise.
The dogs wouldn't clean the cattle that well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes.
Anybody else have any questions?
Let's see here. Yeah, good. Let's see here.
I want to say that
a lot of people didn't know the cow mutilations were still going on.
They will continue to go on because there again, the ETs have to eat. They have to get their food supplies because they don't have a whole lot of food up there, so they got to get some of their supplies from here. And they do love the cattle because it's good per se nutrition for them. The higher you go in frequency, the truth is it all that matters. Yeah, very much so.
I do believe in that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully y'all enjoyed the show. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you, everybody. And stay tuned in a few weeks. There'll be a new website being launched called Otherworldly Insights. It'll have UFO news, paranormal news, and ways to sign up and take my psychic courses and learn all about remote viewing.
And from coast to coast, around the world, ladies and gentlemen. Catch you on the next show. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. No, I'm out of here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just going to sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!